Okay, everyone. Hi, how are you doing, friends? It is 7 o'clock and we are ready for Couch to Kitchen. We are finishing up with our breakfast section. This is called the most important meal of the day. So what we're going to do here is go over some tricks, tips for making your breakfast and your morning just a little bit easier, but also a little bit healthier. It really is the most important meal of the day, and we'll talk about why. So really quickly, just as you're coming in, keep in mind that you are on mute automatically. Please keep yourself on mute the entire time that you're in the class. Also do a favor for me and keep your camera, excuse me, keep your camera off for now so all eyes are on me and we can all concentrate in the video, especially during the recording. Also, we're going to change the format just a little bit from before when you submitted all questions in the chat box. You are perfectly welcome to still submit questions to the chat box. Our wonderful moderator, Alina, will keep track of that. However, we encourage you now to ask your questions live. All you simply have to do is raise your hand virtually. So there are two places to do this. If you're watching on a laptop computer, under reactions, that's a little smiley face, just press that in the very top. It says raise hands. If you're doing this from your phone, like I am right here, go to more. It's those three little buttons all the way to the right-hand side. And at the very top, it says raise hands. Again, Alina will see you. She'll be able to unmute you and you can ask your question. Feel free to ask questions throughout the segment. Anything that we feel we need to save to the end, we can do that, not a problem. Also, always, these sessions are recorded, so don't say anything you shouldn't. Also, they will be recorded for a YouTube link. That YouTube link will be sent to you through a private link about 24 hours after the class takes place. For all of you who are waiting for the herbs class, no worries, I'm filming that on Friday, so you'll get that. We had a little oops. Someone didn't press record. Sorry about that, guys. So we'll get that to you in the next couple days as well. Don't forget, not next week, we're actually taking a break. But the week afterwards, we are having our sauce class. Wildly popular class. I've taught this class many times and people love it for its ease and also its adaptability to put on everything from vegetables to meats to pastas. People love sauces. So make sure you sign up for the sauce class if you haven't already. Also, we want to see your recipes. Make sure to hashtag Zaman C2K. And one of the best things that we can ask for you is word of mouth. If you like this class, tell your friends, give them the link, and have them sign up. Classes are still open and we can retroact classes and actually send you the link for classes that have already happened. You can certainly pay for those as well. So everyone, let's get started with the most important meal of the day. So we're going to start with some homemade granola, one of the recipes that I sent you here. And then we're going to make a granola bowl at the end. So let's turn you around and put you down on the big cutting board. So first we're going to, here we go. First, we're going to gather our mise en place. Remember, that's gathering everything that we need to make the recipe easy and successful. First and foremost, a baking sheet that is lined with parchment paper, or this is actually a silicone baking mat. Everyone, I love silicone baking mats because they're more environmentally friendly than throwing away parchment paper. They can be washed and used again and again. They truly are God's gift. I love these things. They also are heat resistant up to 500 degrees. This is actually a no-bake granola, but regardless, it's definitely multi-purpose. I have my little silicone baking mat right here on my baking sheet. Then I'll start putting everything in a bowl. We'll talk about ingredients. But this is a no-bake granola. I really prefer no-bake granola, everyone, just simply because a lot of the ingredients are so delicate. Things like seeds, rolled oats, dried fruit. So you run the risk of burning it in the oven so easily, even on low heat. So I really prefer this no-bake version. So let's get started. We're going to take a big bowl, excuse me, and combine a couple things. And I'll be talking a lot about ingredients today and the importance of everything that I'm putting in here. So first and foremost, rolled oats. So oats are widely consumed in the United States. Do you know by what? Not by people, but by animals. And it's a darn shame, not that I begrudge animals, these lovely little things, However, human beings do not eat enough of these in the United States. In other countries, they do, but they are full of healthy omega-3 fatty acids, as well as minerals and different vitamins that help build your immune system. So oats truly are remarkable. Now, what makes a steel cut oat versus a rolled oat, etc.? Well, it's just basically about how it's processed. So rolled oats, by their name, I'll take them out again, are simply smashed. So you take the oats and you roll over it to smash it down to form. If you look, you think, oh yeah, I get it. They're actually little smashed down things. Steel cut oats are simply oats that are processed using a steel blade instead of a roller. So it just depends on what you're making and the final product that you want. Some things like, for example, oatmeal raisin cookies sometimes call for a combination of rolled oats and steel cut oats. So it adds a nice texture. Can you put steel cut oats in granola? You betcha you can. So for now, we're going to start off with these rolled oats. Make sure that they are old-fashioned rolled oats and not the instant kind, because it won't work as well. I'm going to start with 1.5 cups of rolled oats in a bowl. Here's 1, and then a half. I always use my half cup because it more easily gets in my jars here. Also notice, everyone, back to our pantry segment, how it's labeled and kept nicely in a jar. Just want to point that out for future. Now we're going to put our almonds in here. Now I wanted to show you a method that I use for crushing almonds. So I put in your recipe that you can do either slivered almonds or almonds that are whole if you like. However, I really do like a consistency with the cuts of what I'm doing. In other words, these oats are tiny, they're small, and I don't want big old chunks of things. I really want everything to match because I believe in even bites when you're taking them. So instead, what I'm going to do is actually crush these almonds. And I'm not going to use this big bag. I'm going to use a tiny one to show you. Take out a different one. So I'm going to take a sandwich bag, and this is a great method really to do with things like chocolate, other type of nuts. It really doesn't matter. More. So you're going to put the almonds or any type of nut that you want to use. The sky's the limit. You want to use cashews, you want to use pecans, walnuts, have fun, whatever floats your boats. I love these because of the texture. Also, a note about almonds. Almonds, again, are absolutely nutrient packed, full of fiber, also full of good fats as well, the kind of fats that keep you full and make everything from our nails and our hair and our skin glow and grow. That's something to note, ladies. The nuts are incredibly good for you. So you're going to put them in a plastic baggie. Take the smooth side of a mallet, never the side, but the smooth side, and you're simply going to gently smash. This is really good because it lets out aggression and also gets your nuts perfectly smashed. Why I love this method, everyone, is because you have nuts that are perfectly smashed and crushed, but still have a lot of texture. They're not too fine ground, so they're absolutely perfect. I'm going to add those to my rolled oats. The next thing that I'm going to add is some pumpkin seeds. Again, going on the theme of seeds and nuts, full of good vitamins, minerals, and good fats. So I love pumpkin seeds. I'm crazy about them. They have such a nutty flavor to them. That's why I like them. But however, whatever seeds you like, you can definitely use them. There we go, perfect. So I have my nuts, my oats, and my seeds in here, and I'm just going to take my hand and mix everything up. Looks perfect. And then I'm going to set this aside. Now I'm going to prepare what makes granola so good, some sugar and some fat. Not too much, we're still going to keep it healthy, but at the same time, remember, That fat equals flavor, and without a little bit of sugar, life is very dull. But we're going to keep it still on the healthy side by not putting too much. So first and foremost, we're going to do 2.5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. So right about here, you can easily use the measurements right on the stick. I'm going to take a small saucepan and add this to the saucepan. Next, I'm going to take about 2.5 tablespoons of light brown sugar. Again, this is not too much brown sugar. So don't worry about it being doused with sugar. That's the other reason why I like doing it myself, because if you look at the grams of sugar on a lot of store-bought granola, it's through the roof, as opposed to making it yourself. This is going to be evenly distributed throughout the oats. You're not going to get that much. Then we'll do 1 tablespoon of honey. I cannot overemphasize the benefits of honey. Bees are the most remarkable little creatures on the planet. They are also the reason that we have over 90% of our crops. So without bees and other pollinators like butterflies, we don't have a large amount of fruits and vegetables. That's another discussion for another day. However, what you do need to know is that buying local honey is really beneficial for immune system. There's actually been your immune system. There's actually been studies that have shown they help with allergies. Why? Because bees take pollen from local flowers, and that's how they make the honey. When you're ingesting that, you build up a natural immunity to the pollen around you if you have bad allergies. So buying local honey is something that I always have, and I really, really believe in the benefits of this. Then we're going to have a little bit of vanilla extract, as well as some of our spices. Harkening back to our spice section, these are spices that are both going to sweeten and add a little bit of zing. That's your ground cinnamon, your nutmeg, and just a dash of cloves. This is definitely the secret spice ingredient here. So let's bring you over to the stove. Put our saucepan on here and turn on the heat. We're going to melt the butter. So my butter's been sitting out. A note about butter, and I forgot to mention this last time when I was melting butter. So when butter is in the fridge and really in a hardened solid form, you run the risk when you're melting it of browning it or burning it. Now, brown butter is absolutely fantastic, but it's not appropriate in all circumstances. So what I try to do is at least leave a stick of butter out for a couple hours if I'm going to melt it. However, my kitchen is very cold. Why? Because, well, Alexa tells me it's 19 degrees outside. That's cold. So what I guess I'm saying is that you really have to watch the butter. Even when it's been sitting out for a while, or if it comes straight from the fridge, make sure that it doesn't brown or burn. You have to kind of sit over it and babysit it and move it and make sure the heat isn't on too high. Brown butter is another conversation for another day. We'll let that go for a second. And then I'll bring all of my ingredients over here on standby. Again, that's my light brown sugar, my vanilla, my honey, and my spices. I have to get out a little measuring spoon here. I think it's my half teaspoon. And a fourth a teaspoon. I had to get out two. There we go. So notice that I'm melting my butter before and not adding everything all at once. I can very easily hurt my brown sugar. I need to add it into some liquid form. So that's why I'm waiting for the butter to melt first, and then I will add everything. Okay, so there is my brown sugar. About a tablespoon of that honey. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon. A fourth of nutmeg. and just a dash of cloves. Cloves are very, very strong, so just a teeny little bit. And then half a teaspoon of the vanilla. And then I'm going to take a whisk and whisk all of this together. Make sure my heat's low. You hear that sizzle. And I'm going to whisk until my sugar is dissolved. How do you tell when the sugar is dissolved? Well, it stops looking grainy. I know it's hard to tell on camera, but it creates kind of this molten syrup that's pretty easy to see and happens pretty darn quickly. All right, that's about it. Easy as that. So let's take you back over to the cutting board. And there is my granola. I'm going to evenly distribute this mixture, or as evenly as possible. And then mix all of this up. Oh, it smells so good already. I love this. Make sure that I get all of it in there. It's going to take a second, but work quickly because the whole point is we don't want it to harden in the bowl. We want it to harden on the baking sheet. Next, we're going to take some dried fruit. Totally up to you what you use. I chose dried cherries though. Just that time of year that cherries sound good. As much or as little as you like. Excellent. All right. Then I'm going to taste. Oh my gosh. Nothing like it. I love it. Taking you over to my silicone baking mat. And I'm going to gently distribute and spread this granola on my baking mat. I'm going to make it as even as possible. And then give it a little press down with my spatula here for even cooling. Okay. Two more things I'm going to do. Number one, hemp hearts. So I have recently discovered hemp hearts and they are unbelievably amazing. I now put them on top of my yogurt, my oatmeal, my granola, everything. They have over 10 grams of plant protein per serving, and per serving is about 3 tablespoons. So there's a lot of protein in these little guys, and they're nutty and they add a great texture to everything. I'm nuts about them. They are really fine, just like so. So I'm going to take them and sprinkle them over the top a little bit. And then the very last, one of the most important ingredients, salt. Yes, my friends, salt. Why? Because salt is going to bring forth the natural flavors of absolutely everything that I just put together. This is flaked salt. I'm using flaked sea salt this time and not kosher salt because it will add a little crunch at the very top of my granola. That granola is going to go in the fridge. It can cool for about an hour or sit on the counter and cool for about 3 to 4 hours. We're going to put it in the fridge though to speed up the process to make our yogurt bowl at the very end. All right, everyone, I'm going to put you back over here. Allow me to reset for a minute and I will be right with you. Okay. Let's move on to our avocado toast. So avocado toast recently is the subject and the butt of many jokes, which I get because people can be ridiculous when they go in and order restaurants and think they're chic. I get it. However, let me tell you something about avocado toast. It's fantastic and incredibly delicious. So whoever made them wasn't meaning to be pretentious. They were meaning and aiming to making something delicious. Mission accomplished. So we're going to make some really cool avocado toast today with some awesome bread. And I'm going to do a shameless plug in a minute. Bear with me. And we're going to make a couple different variations. So first and foremost, what do you need? You need some good bread. Here comes the shameless plug. Made the bread last night myself. If you want to learn how to make an amazing bowl such as this, sign up for our bread class. Again, sorry, shameless plug, had to do it. But this is a whole wheat bread that I made yesterday. Since we're sticking with our more health on the healthier side theme, why not bake a healthier bread? So I'm going to cut that up in a minute. And in the meantime, I'm going to push this over, bring you over, and set up my toaster. I'll do that right over here to the side. This girl in half. When I make bread, it has absolutely no preservatives in it, so it lives in the refrigerator. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Cut in the middle here. It's going to be easier for me. Lives in the refrigerator in a plastic bag, so I am able to take it out when I need it. These are going to go to, I'm going to do 2 slices for now. We can do more later, but they're going to go in the toaster to be toasted up when I'm ready for my avocado on it. How did it taste? Ooh, it's good. I love all bread. I love whole wheat bread. I love seeded bread. I love white bread. I love sprouted bread. I'm an equal opportunity bread lover. Off to the side. All right, let's talk about avocados. So avocados are full of healthy fats. So what I need to stress for you is that all human beings on this planet, no matter what their diet, need a good combination of healthy fats, healthy carbohydrates, and healthy proteins. And you might be thinking, if you don't know much about them, what about vegans and vegetarians? Yes, even vegans and vegetarians. We all need this good combination in order to have healthy bodies, immune system, and live a long and healthy life. So one of the ways we can certainly get all of these things from either plants or animals or a combination of both, depending on your diet. A great way to get a lot of good fats are from things like avocados. So are there good fats and bad fats? You betcha there are. What are some bad fats? Well, things like saturated fats, fats that are processed, and you can find a lot of those in things like processed TV dinners or potato chips or junk food. Things like that have a lot of processed fats that is just not good for you. Processed cookies, ho-ho donuts, cupcakes, etc. However, the good fats are the fats that we need in order to survive. Again, without fats, we would literally be emaciated and dead. So good fats come from different things like extra virgin olive oil, which you see me use a lot. I talked about them in like our rolled oats here. And another one, again, avocados. So let's slice open these babies and see what we can do. If you've never opened up an avocado before, first and foremost, you have to pick one that is either ripe, or if it's unripe, you're going to have to wait for it to ripe. So I bought these a couple days ago, and I bought ones that are pretty firm because I knew they were going to sit out on my counter until, well, today when I use them. Now, when I press them just slightly, they are soft and ready to use. So you're going to take a sharp knife, make a slit in the middle, go all the way around here. And what's happening when I make a slit in the middle is the pit in the middle is actually stopping me. So I can use that as an anchor and simply go around the entire avocado by keeping my knife steady. I'm going to not pull apart, but I'm going to twist. And once I, look how beautiful. Once I twist, there it is. One side will have the pit and the other side will not. It's like a wishbone. You should do it with someone. Twist, and whoever gets the pit gets to make a wish. I just made that up. So the pit, contrary to popular belief, is not the seed. The seed is in the pit itself. We're going to take a little spoon and go around the pit and gently coax it out of the avocado. When I say coax, I mean coax. It takes some loving little, come on, there you go, just like so. We can discard the pit or plant it in your backyard. I promise you though, nothing's going to happen in your backyard because we don't live in California. So there's a couple of different ways you can take out the inside pulp of the avocado, which is what we eat. You can either scoop it out with a spoon, that works, or if you want to kind of pre-slice it and make it nice coming right out of this, you can. Because here's the thing, if I scoop it out and try to cut it on my chopping block, I'll make a bit of a mess. Instead, take a paring knife and make tiny slits. Be careful because you'll hit the outside with your paring knife and you don't want to go through and hit your hand. So tiny slits, just like so, and then turn it and slice the opposite way. So when you do this and you take a bowl, you can get close to the outside, scoop out, and what comes out is tiny pre-diced little chunks of avocado. So we'll do this on the other end too. These are buttes. There we are. So let's add some things to these that are going to make it yummy. First of all, I'm going to have kind of like a guacamole feel to this because why not? So we're going to add a little bit of red onion. I'm just going to take a sliver of red onion here and I'm going to mince it. Don't want really huge or overpowering chunks of onions. So I want to make sure to mince it again to get even bites of everything. Hopefully you can see a theme with that. And mincing it pretty fine. I don't want those big chunks. There's nothing worse than a huge chunk of onion that your eyes are watering and it's just not pleasant. There we go. Right into the avocado. Now, the thing about avocado is that it is truly delicious, but it's a very, very, very dull, muted, nutty flavor. How are you going to bring forth that flavor? Oh my gosh, if you guessed kosher salt, you were correct. Salt in general, but especially kosher salt. So we're going to take some kosher salt, sprinkle it over. Number one biggest pet peeve on the face of this earth is when I order avocado toast and it comes out and it's not salted enough. Please, please. So make sure that you are generous with your salt. It needs it. Let's add a little bit of tomato. I have some fresh tomato right here. Actually, I got a lot going on here, guys. Hold on a second. I need my trash bowl. There we go. So maybe you saw that I changed knives here, everyone. Tomatoes are the one exception where you need a little serrated knife. They are a pain to cut because of their very tough skin. and you don't want to smash them. There we go. Some tomato into the bowl. Get a little bit of lime juice. Again, we have a guacamole theme going here. And some cilantro. Oh, not a good lime. Sorry, everyone. That lime was a bust. Let's get another one. Well, it's not the season for limes, everyone. We can't do it. We'll use lemon for a little bit of acid. Let's see. We can get some juice out of this. We only need a little bit. Not a whole heck of a lot, but all right. Let's throw a little bit of smoked paprika in there. Remember, for spices, anything that's smoky like that is really going to complement what's going on in my dish. And then I have a little bit of cilantro. The herbs, along with the acid and the lemon juice, are going to add brightness. Remember, I told you that avocados have a very dull, nutty flavor, so they need to be brightened up with herbs or acid. So the acid, again, is in the lime juice, and the bright herb is going to be the cilantro. Perfect. So we're going to very gently mix this together and break up the avocado chunks. Make sure it stays chunky. That's the whole point of this. Taste a little for salt. Oh, that's good. Oh. There's something about a perfect union of all of those things that is just heavenly. Right, everyone? Let me tell you, do an experiment. Actually, this is a great experiment I want to do. Everyone can do at home. If you are making this own, here comes the dog. Wow, he heard me. You want some too? You heard me when I said I like it. So, experiment at home, everyone. Make the avocado toast. A little bit of avocado with whatever you want, your tomatoes, your lime juice, whatever. Don't put any salt. None. Don't put any. Taste it, and then put some good kosher salt on top. And immediately, hopefully the light bulbs will go out over your head. You'll be able to taste the nuttiness of the avocado, the juicy tomato, a little bit of sweetness from the red tomato. Everything just bursts forth. So I'm toasting my piece of bread right now, and I'll show you how we're going to plate that, and then we'll make one more together for some variations. Let's see here. I didn't give you the recipe for this because really I wanted to fly by the seat of my pants and show you that you really can create this with different things that you have, especially pantry staples, dare I say it, around the kitchen. Wait again for that to toast up. All right, for the next one, let's prepare some tomato balsamic and feta cheese. So we're going to take some of that same tomato that I had before and cut it in thin slices. This is where your serrated knife is really going to come in handy. Okay, so we have some thin slices of tomato. We're going to take my other avocado. Let me clean this off. Again, make a slit. You'll run into the pit, turn the avocado, twist, or that one just came right out. Let's take out the pit by gently coaxing her out. Actually, this one I'm gonna leave in the pit. We might only, yeah, we're only gonna use this half for now. So this, I'm actually going to carve up in a different way. Instead of those little X's that I did before, I'm going to actually just make those careful slits, but that's all. Then I'm going to scoop them out so they stay in those slices. There we go. Take my 2 pieces of toast, and we'll see what we're going to do with each of them. All right, got my bread lightly toasted. And then I'm going to drizzle some extra virgin olive oil, especially when it comes to whole wheat bread. It can get pretty dry pretty quickly, so a little extra fat, like extra virgin olive oil or butter if you'd like, is going to really help it along. So there is my 1 piece of avocado toast with my avocado mixture. Get some little bit of cilantro on top of that for garnish. Then on my other piece here, we're going to layer tomato slices, just like so. And the avocado is going to sit right on top. Then we're not done, we're not done. A little bit of balsamic vinaigrette, or excuse me, just balsamic period. Drizzled over, it's going to soak into the bread and the avocado, create that acid, a little bit of bitterness and some sweetness that you'll absolutely love. I have a little bit of feta cheese for salt on top. And don't forget, speaking of, you do need salt on top of that all. And then finally, again, for some brightness, a little more cilantro on top. So there's my 2 pieces of avocado toast. And folks, that's packed with a lot. That is packed again with really good fats from your oil, as well as your avocado. You have some vegetables with tomatoes in there. And then of course, packed with flavor, acidity, brightness, salt, everything that you could ask for. So a little treat for yourself. Hopefully you enjoy. And then we call the husband who has been standing around waiting for avocado toast. He can have that. All right, everyone, allow me to reset myself and I'll be right back with you. All right, almost done, everyone. All right, let's move on to our breakfast wraps. Breakfast wraps, again, are something that can be incredibly healthy depending on what you put in them. So often when we think breakfast wraps, we think of those things that are probably pre-frozen with sausage and processed cheese on a white bagel. However, it does not have to be that way. You can have an amazing breakfast wrap that is delicious, that's hearty, and also you can make an advance because I love grab and go. Now, during quarantine, I have a lot of time to make some elaborate breakfast. However, it's not going to last that way forever. So grab and go is going to become one of those things that we might have to do again. So therefore, these are a great breakfast that you can pre-make, wrap up, and people can take when they're on the way to work or school. So let's talk about some of the ingredients. Oop, I forgot to, sorry. Got to clean that there. Hold on one second. Let me take you away. Okay, now I'm ready. So the first thing that I prepared in advance is brown rice. Another shameless plug. I will be going over brown rice when we do our grains class. So if you want to know how to make perfect grains, sign up for that. But just know in the meantime, first and foremost, I made a mistake. I put to simmer for 20 minutes, it's 30 minutes. I'll send you a corrected version of this recipe. However, what you need to know is that brown rice I hated for years and years and years because no one taught me how to cook it properly. So what you need to know is that unlike white rice, you have to bring the water up to a boil first and put more water than is usual. So with white rice, it's usually a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 cups of water per 1 cup of white rice. With brown rice, it's 3 cups or 6 cups of water for every 1 cup of rice. So I kind of reduced this a little bit. We don't need that much for our breakfast wrap. So it was a 1/2 cup of brown rice for 3 cups of water. You have to simmer it for double the time, 30 minutes on low. Then you have to drain the excess water that actually hasn't all absorbed. That's how you get brown rice that's kind of breaking out and fluffy and really flavorful. There's a lot of flavor in brown rice. It's just not unlocked because people don't cook it long enough and don't cook it with enough water. So what is brown rice compared to white rice? Well, basically, brown rice is rice that's been unmilled. So a rice kernel has 3 different parts to it: the husk on the outside, the kernel on the inside, and something called the endosperm on the very inside. So a husk on the outside is always removed to reveal the rice. The rice kernel is actually what brown rice is. Brown rice has 3 parts to it: bran, germ, and endosperm. Those things together equal nutrient packed, right? It has fiber, it has carbohydrates, it has minerals, it has vitamins. However, when we mill that, in other words, we press it down and strip away the bran and the germ, we're just left with the endosperm, which is the white rice. And white rice has some nutrients, but not a whole lot. So that's why people recommend brown rice, because it's just healthier. So made the brown rice, made it taste good by cooking it properly. And I know that definitely it's the way to go instead of white in this case. So next thing we're going to prepare is some eggs. We had a friend who generously gave me some eggs from his backyard chickens, bless his heart. We're going to crack these. Put them in a bowl. You can make as much or as little as you want. I am going to do scramble up 4 eggs today, so I can make a bunch of these wraps. Just so you know, everyone, shell gets out shell. So I got a little piece of shell in there. Take the big half of the shell and scoop. Little tip to get out. There we go. Next, hopefully from our egg section, if you attended that, you learn how to properly scramble eggs. We need a little bit of whole milk or cream, just a dot. We need our kosher salt and pepper. And then we need to really whisk it vigorously until you get air bubbles on the top. So remember, that is not whisking properly. You've mixed it together, but there needs to be no streaks whatsoever, and it needs to be nice and frothy. Yes, I'm still going. There we go. Lovely. So next, we're going to scramble up those eggs. Let me take you over to the stove. I'm gonna go get my pan. Now, sorry guys, in this case, if you feel the need to put baking spray and ruin your eggs, you can. However, you do need butter in this. Sorry about your luck. So butter goes in the pan always with scrambled eggs. It's just the way that it is. And it's okay because a little bit of butter is not going to hurt you. A lot of butter is not good for you, but a little bit, it'll be just fine. As you can see, this is why I don't talk about health and nutrition too much, because a dietitian I am not. We're not going to pretend like I am. All right, get that butter melted. And then let's scramble our eggs. This is a nice little review, putting our eggs right in the pan and then moving them immediately, keeping them moving with a rubber scraper to get nice and fluffy eggs that are not burnt on the bottom. And you can see the butter or the egg chunks right away, which is good. Get out a bowl. I actually could have used a lot more butter in this pan, everyone, but I was trying to be healthy, but see how it's sticking a little too much to the sides? It needed more butter, but you know, I was trying to do the right thing. The day someone tries to take butter away from me, it'll be a dark day. So everyone, I like to undercook these eggs a little bit, especially if I plan on heating up my wraps. If I don't, I want them cold, it's fine. But I'm not a fan of cold eggs, so I'm gonna undercook these. And when I put them in the microwave, they will heat up nicely. Okay, I'm gonna take you back over to my cutting board, and I am going to clean out this pan because I'm gonna need it for a couple more things. So give me 1 second, everyone. I only have so many pans. I didn't want to dirty all of them. So we're going to have to reuse this a couple times. So I'm going to, I'll take you back over here. We're going to saute up some turkey. Ground turkey or ground chicken is the leanest of meats. So therefore, because it's lean, it's not very flavorful. So we really have to do a lot to it to make it taste good. Don't let anybody or any recipe tell you you can just saute turkey with a little bit of baking spray and call it a day. No, you really have to do a lot to it to make it delicious. So extra virgin olive oil. We're going to take our turkey, ground turkey, put it in that pan there. And now we are going to add not only salt and pepper, but some spices and some herbs to make it taste good. Go. So some salt on top. A little bit of smoked paprika. You'll see this when I make my beans in a second. A little bit of smoked cumin. Some cilantro. Let's brown this up. On my other side over here, I'm going to get the beans started. Wrong one. So what I'm going to saute up is some beans that are from a box, not a can. I'm actually nuts about beans from a box. You don't have the threat of BPA line cans or other effects that come from canned beans. And the box is 100% recyclable. So and it's non-GMO here. I love these beans. And these are low sodium, which means they don't really add any salt to it, which is good because I want to add the salt. I don't want someone else to add the salt for me and have it be fake salt or MSG and overdo it. I want to add the salt. So I'm going to take these beans and rinse them. All beans that have been canned need to be rinsed, everyone. So I'm just going to open them and put them over my sink here while you watch the turkey in a little colander and give them a nice rinse. Here. Let's turn you around to this other skillet. So a note on beans. Beans, I'm totally convinced, are 100% the perfect food. Perfectly packed with an equal amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. It is really incredible. So remember how I told you that human beings need all three of those things? Well, it's in a bean. They are absolutely fantastic. I love your picking beans in the morning. Absolutely beans in the morning. You'll see how we'll make them really easily into a breakfast food. So a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and beans. And you're also saying to me, okay, she's going to saute them. She is. We're going to warm them up a little bit and infuse them with some herbs, or excuse me, some spices. Again, the same ones I put on my turkey. So a little bit of smoked paprika and cumin. Beans love cumin. And some salt and pepper, because again, there was no salt in these particular beans that I bought, I want to add it myself. The turkey is almost done. We'll get those warmed up in a second. All right, turkey is done. Turn that off. Put that in the bowl in my little assembly line in a second. All right, while those beans are getting warmed up, let me take you back to the cutting board, and I'm going to chop up some vegetables. The sky is the limit as to what vegetables that you want to do. I mean, you can do anything your heart desires, anything that's in the fridge that's left over, saute it up and put it in these babies. However, I happen to have a jar of roasted peppers. And I wanted to show you this because I roasted my own pepper the other day, which I wanted you all to see, but also keep in mind that you can get roasted peppers in a jar, and I always have some on hand because they are a great addition to everything. So I'm going to slice these up just like so, and they're going to go great in some of my wraps. They are packed in water, so you see me with a paper towel. I'm just patting them dry a little bit so they don't waterlog my wrap. That one I might not need. It's getting thin. There we go. My beans have sizzled, got a little hot, and they are done. Put those in a bowl as well. Put those off to the side. Bring you back over here to my peppers. Put those in a bowl. I'm just putting these all in a bowl so I can create a little assembly line. This little dude I'm not going to use, so may go back in the jar. Okay, we have all my ingredients. I'm going to assemble my wraps. So what wraps can you use? You can use any tortilla wraps you'd like. However, I'm usually not a fan of this as far as low carb things, but I am nuts about these. They're called tomorrows, and either wheat or white ones, but they don't have a lot of calories or net carbs. There's not that many bad things in them, but you know, unless you make them yourself, which you can. But anyway, I'm nuts about them, and they really have a very nice texture to them, and I keep them in the fridge. So we'll do 2 of these guys. But again, makes it a little healthier, which was the theme here. All right. So I'll get everything nice and assembled in front of me. I have my eggs, have my beans, have my peppers, my turkey, and my rice. So simply, everyone, just assemble. I'm going to break up my eggs a little bit here. And don't put too much of anything at once, otherwise you won't be able to shut the thing. So just a little bit of beans, some strips of pepper, some turkey, and some brown rice. My husband and I are a huge fan of hot sauce. So if you want to put your, sriracha or your Frank's Red Hot or anything on top of that, have at it. Hot sauce adds not only a zing, but a little bit of acid too, which, as we all have learned, balances everything out. A little bit of turkey and a little bit of the brown rice. Look at that. Just packed. So now all I have to do is roll them up. I can cut in half. I can eat as is. I like to wrap these up in tin foil or parchment. And again, they're wonderful on the go. So I cut it in half. There you go. You see all the goodness inside. And it's not a pre-made wrap with too much fat and too much processed food. They can sit in the fridge for a couple days and you just heat up as you go. Oh, some of that's falling out. I'm gonna cut this one in half too. Oops. Sorry. Didn't wrap it as tightly as I should. So those are our breakfast wraps, everyone. So I'll put all of that to my side. Allow me to reset for a second. And we will finish with our yogurt and granola bar or granola bowl. There is my granola that's been sitting in the fridge for a bit. I'm going to tell you how to build a really pretty yogurt bowl. When I get up in the morning, if I had a pretty heavy meal the night before, or I'm just kind of feeling bogged down, I really, really like to have yogurt. What kind of yogurt? Not the kind of yogurt that has fruit at the bottom and too much sugar. Really, I do truly, truly love plain yogurt. The milk fat is totally up to you, anywhere from 0 to 2% milk fat if you want more of the good fat in your diet. But this is strained non-fat yogurt. There's tons of them in the stores these days, but there's no added sugar, there's no gelatin, there's no stevia, there's no aspartame, there's no high fructose corn syrup, all the stuff that they used to mess up yogurt. So what's great is it's such a blank canvas and it's really, really tart. So you have that high tartness and high acidity level. You can balance it out with things like the sweet granola. So I'm going to take this yogurt and mix it up a little bit. The water sits at the top. Put this in there. I know for some people just plain is an acquired taste. I totally get that. But I love it plain because I love tart things. I love sweet things as much. I love tart. Next, we're going to take this granola and we're just going to break it up. Beautiful. You can do big chunks or small chunks. It's totally up to you. Oh, that's good. Granola bowl is not going to be complete. Yogurt granola bowl without some good fruit always. I love berries, especially in the morning. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't consume berries in some way, shape, or form. They are really, really good for you. So there's some blackberries. They go bad really quickly, so I have to pick around some ones that have gone bad. But you can use any kind of fruit that you want. Sliced up apples. You can do strawberries. You can do bananas. The sky's the limit, whatever you feel like doing. Then I like to add some things on top for sweetness and for texture. So a little bit of cinnamon. Sometimes I'll add some extra honey on top. I like to add my hemp hearts. And I love to add some extra seeds for some protein as well. So here's my pretty yogurt berry and granola bowl. Again, good fats from the yogurt as long as it's plain strained yogurt. Some wonderful omega-3 fatty acids from the rolled oats in my granola, along with dried fruit, fresh fruit, and on top a little bit of cinnamon for extra sweetness. So there is my power granola and yogurt bowl. I love how people say like power something, like, you know, you're gonna power through the day, like you don't have to eat 3 or 4 hours later after this. You do. That's just one of those, you know, marketing things. It's funny to me. Anyway, so hi, that is it for our class today, the most important meal of the day. So I hope you took some things away from it. First of all, eating breakfast in the morning is going to give you energy. That's one of the most important things. Why? It's called break fast. You're breaking your fast. Why are you breaking your fast? Because you haven't eaten for about 7 to 8 hours, depending on how much sleep that you got and the last time you ate. So think about it. If you stop eating at, let's say, 7 o'clock at night, and you don't get up till 7 o'clock the next morning, that is actually 12 hours of not eating. So your body goes into a fasting mode, and you need to break that fast. Why? Because that starts and kickstarts your metabolism right off the get-go. It also stabilizes your blood sugar. You might not realize this because you feel fine in the morning. However, if you get into a habit of eating, you will feel hungry in the morning. That's your blood sugar naturally doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is helping regulate your body temperature and all sorts of other things, again, that I'm not going to get into. Why? Because I'm not a scientist or a doctor. So, but I will tell you again, eating breakfast in the morning kickstarts your metabolism and helps with blood sugar levels. Also, practice good healthy habits in the morning. The first thing that should be in your mouth is actually not food, it's water, and a lot of it. You should at least have 8 ounces of purified water as soon as you get up to flush any toxins out of your system. Try some good stretching, especially during the pandemic. During quarantine, man, oh man, yoga has helped me immensely. You can quick search a YouTube video just like that, and do 10 or 15 minutes in the morning of some good stretching, which will help wake you up. Nice old cup of tea or cup of coffee and something like a yogurt bowl. Just making time to have this is good for you. It's good for your health. It's good for your psyche. It's good for your heart. And it helps center you and get you ready for the day. So does anyone have any questions? You want to use the raise your hand method, the chat box method? Yeah, anything at all. Check on here. I think I can check the chat. Here we go. Okay. All right. Well, if no one has anything, then that is it for tonight. Very glad to have you all with us. And I won't see you next week. I will see you the week after that if you've signed up for the full package. But keep in mind, our sauces class is going to happen in a couple weeks from now. And I'm super excited about that one. It's a popular one. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon.